In the 12th century, a significant wave of Jewish refugees found themselves navigating the uncertainties and challenges of life in North Africa. These Jews were primarily fleeing from Europe, particularly from areas under Christian rule where they faced increasing hostility, such as Spain, southern France, and the Rhineland. The rise of anti-Jewish policies, expulsions, forced conversions, and violent crusades made life in Christian Europe perilous. Many sought refuge in the lands across the Mediterranean, hoping for safety under Islamic rule, which historically offered Jews some degree of protection. However, life in North African Muslim societies was complex, filled with opportunities and struggles alike. By the 12th century, Europe's political and religious climate was shifting rapidly. The Crusades had intensified anti-Semitic sentiments, and Jewish communities faced frequent violence, including massacres by crusaders. Particularly in Spain, Jews who had flourished under Islamic rule were now under Christian monarchs with changing attitudes. The Almohads, a radical Muslim dynasty that took over parts of Spain and North Africa, also posed threats by enforcing a more stringent interpretation of Islam. This push and pull of religious intolerance led Jews to seek shelter in safer territories, such as North Africa. The journey across the Mediterranean was perilous, often involving long voyages by sea or arduous treks by land. Some Jewish refugees arrived as impoverished wanderers, while others managed to bring some of their wealth and possessions. But in a new land, wealth and prior status offered little guarantee of security. Encountering North African Muslim societies, upon arriving in North Africa, Jewish refugees encountered well-established Jewish communities in cities like Fez, Cairo, and Kairouan. These North African Jewish communities had deep roots and were often familiar with local customs and languages. However, the arrival of European Jews, who spoke different languages, such as Spanish or Hebrew rather than Arabic, created cultural gaps that complicated assimilation. The local Jewish communities were cautious of their European counterparts, seeing them as unfamiliar and sometimes as competition for limited resources. In addition, Islamic law at the time regarded Jews as Dhimmi, protected people, allowing them religious freedom and relative safety in exchange for a special tax, the jizya. This Dhimmi status was a unique structure within the Islamic world, ensuring that Jews could maintain their religious practices, but it also limited their rights and imposed legal and social restrictions. The newly arrived European Jews were quick to notice that their lives in North Africa would involve both newfound freedoms and new forms of subjugation under Islamic rule. Struggling with cultural and social integration, adjusting to life in North African cities proved challenging for many European Jewish refugees. They came from Christian-dominated societies with different social structures, legal systems, and languages, making North African Islamic societies seem foreign and, at times, harsh. Local Jewish communities had adapted over centuries to the expectations and norms of their Muslim neighbors, and newcomers often lacked the social knowledge to navigate these subtleties. European Jews also encountered dietary and clothing customs distinct from those they knew. The way local Jews dressed, ate, and prayed often differed subtly from the practices of the newcomers. Such cultural differences sometimes created tensions, with European Jews being viewed as disruptive or out of place. Moreover, established Jews in these regions had to work to maintain positive relations with Muslim authorities and worried that the arrival of foreign Jews might destabilize their standing. Challenges of economic survival. Survival in North Africa's economic system also posed a challenge. Many Jewish refugees were skilled in trade, craftsmanship, or intellectual pursuits, and they sought to integrate into the local economy. However, some North African cities imposed regulations on Dhimmi populations, restricting their ability to freely compete in markets or enter certain professions. Although a few refugees found patronage under sympathetic Muslim leaders or established themselves in communal trades, others struggled to make a living and were limited to lower-paying jobs or menial work. Certain cities, such as Cairo, were more open to skilled foreign Jews, providing opportunities in trade and the arts. In these cases, refugees who were able to build connections and learn the local language found some success. But in rural areas or smaller cities, work was scarcer, and competition with other Dhimmi populations like Christians created further barriers. Many refugees found themselves grappling with poverty and social marginalization, maintaining Jewish identity and education. Despite the challenges, Jewish refugees clung fiercely to their identity. Synagogues and communal spaces became vital hubs where they could reconnect with their roots and teach their children the religious and cultural knowledge of their heritage. In fact, some European Jews brought with them valuable religious texts, including Torah scrolls and Talmudic commentaries, which they used to establish small centers of learning. These centers sometimes sparked interest and respect from local Jews, who appreciated the newcomers' devotion to study and preservation of Jewish law. Rabbinic figures who arrived with these refugees occasionally found positions as teachers or advisors within the Jewish communities, and they helped bridge the gap between European and North African Jewish traditions. The preservation of Jewish scholarship and traditions, such as the writing of responsa, religious rulings, became a key aspect of communal life, ensuring that refugees maintained a sense of spiritual stability even in foreign surroundings. As the years passed, some European Jews did successfully integrate into North African society, blending their traditions with local customs. In places like Morocco and Tunisia, Jewish communities became unique mixtures of North African and European Jewish influences. The languages, customs, and liturgical practices merged, resulting in diverse traditions that enriched North African Jewry. These blended practices are, to this day, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of these communities. Yet, the experience of Jewish refugees in 12th-century North Africa was not uniform. Some integrated more successfully, while others remained on the fringes, marginalized and struggling with poverty. For many, life was a delicate balance between adapting to survive and preserving the core tenets of their identity in a world that demanded conformity. The story of these refugees remains a significant chapter in the history of Jewish resilience and adaptability, offering insights into the broader narratives of migration and identity